Okay, so oversimplification is actually objectification. Now, this happens all the time in acting. This is a thing that occurs, and this is a difficult and easy enough lesson to learn if you're just paying attention enough to be able to allow yourself paying attention to you and your ability to be able to trust that you have abilities and you're able to get over this hurdle in acting, because this is definitely a hurdle in acting. It is the oversimplification. It creates objectification in your acting. That means that a lot of times you'll become very judgmental. Listen, I'm Simon Blake. I've written over 6 acting books. Of emotionalpreparation.com. I've studied. I've also taught I've studied over 8,000 acting classes. I have over 8 feet of acting notes. So look, let's work at this. This is an oversimplification. When we're dealing with the concept of getting the emotion, we are looking at being able to get into an emotional range. Now look, I was less than 10 feet from every single class where I've studied, and I'm telling you, it's incredible the abilities and many different places that I was at where I would be so close to the actors actually getting their emotion or trying to get their emotion connected for acting. So when we're looking at being able to get the resonance or the frequency or the emotional range activated in ourselves as actors, we're then going to have to look at, are we taking that and trying to objectify the other actor? Or are we taking that to oversimplify it? But we're going to follow the overall blueprint. And we know that there's emotions, we know that there's feelings, we know that there's inclinations, we know that we have our own thoughts and ideas, and we also know that the others have thoughts and ideas, and the others have feelings, and the others have their own emotions. So we want to be able to deliver in our acting the emotion and the emotional depth and the emotional strength and the boldness of it to be able to come into our work. But how we're going to do it is simply by receiving the other actor. See, we get ourselves completely amped up in whatever way, in whatever strand of emotion that we're looking for. And we want to, I have a video layering emotional preparations, because we're looking at how to be able to activate and keep reactivating our emotion while we're going down my emotions triangle. We're going past the thoughts and ideas. We're going past the inclinations. We're going past the feelings, and we're going into the emotional range. Once that's hit, we're still not going to bulldoze our way into an acting scene. Just because we're doing a gut-to-gut level process, or just because we're doing an emotion-to-emotion level process, we're working to be able to make sure that we're still malleable and flexible in our acting so that we're able to make full adjustment to the other actor. When we say full adjustment, we're talking about full adjustment. We could start with the feeling of regret or loss or shame, and all of a sudden the shame feeling is the feelings are going to be, the feelings are always receptors in our acting, and the feelings are going to have inclinations, and they're going to have they're literally informing us of what's the depth of emotion, and we're going to get the emotion, and we're going to go in, and we're going to still be able to interact and have our emotion do its thing as we do our thing as actors. We're going to literally surrender over ourselves in a way so that we're not stuck in this thing called objectification. We're not taking ourselves and trying to say, well, look, we're supposed to be this emotion, and the other actor's supposed to be that emotion. That's true. And in the broad scheme of things, that's true. But we don't know what the result's going to be. This is the same reason why there's never a final sports league of any single sport. Every single time you play the game, it could be different. So we're looking at that. We know that you know that the other actor has an emotional realm, emotional range, and then you have your own emotional range. And then when you put it together, you're going to get more than just 2 additional parts. You're not going to have 1 + 1 = 2. You're going to have 1 + 1 = 3, 4, 5. It could be hopefully 25. I mean, you could literally have multipliers. The circumstance of what you're working on is going to build and build and build and build and build. And it builds through the efforts of receiving. So you're literally, how much you receive as the actor you're going to then be able to allow that. There's the thing that I call the acting vacuum. So you've got your acting scene, and the more that you intense, and the more the ability that you get involved in it, not so much intense, but it can involve some intensities, where you're literally in this place where you're expanding. The vacuum of your it expands. The interest and the depth and the layers and the amount of things happening to you expand, and it expands and it expands the more you stay connected to the other actor. This is going to build careers, full careers, because these techniques are going to be able to go over and over and over and over into your ability to be able to make sure that once the other person's activated you through your receiving them, then all of a sudden you're in a situation where you're expanding. So you have your own expansion that happens within you and your emotional life. Then you have your other actor that has their emotional life. And emotional life is a reference going back to New York studies with several different teachers, because that's one way that people will explain how to build up the ability to have the undercurrent beneath the scene. Now we have the undercurrent beneath the scene that builds based off of emotion, doesn't really base off of the lesser stuff. I mean, it could on deep feelings. Deep feelings could build into something where it could be working. But when you really tap in and get into emotion, then you're going to be able to do this. So the oversimplification is the objectification. You're not going into the scene, even though you know that there's an objective that you're going to be able, that the script has told you that you're going to get. You want to kind of flirt with it as much as possible. When you're going into the scene, you want to be able to feel all your feelings, your receptors, your instincts, your gives and your takes, the things that repulse you, the things that attract you, and you want to be able to stay present with those, with the underlying emotion being already activated. And when that emotional changes occur, it's because you're receiving from the other actor and you're receiving everything from them. And then this is going to be able to create this whole thing within you. And then you're going to, you could go from feeling like you have one knot in your stomach. That's one emotional element. And then all of a sudden, from something that's happening, and then all of a sudden you feel lightheaded and wow, you're lighter than anything. And then all of a sudden you go back to having a knot in your stomach. That would be fantastic. This is what we're looking at when we're looking at acting, because we're looking at being able to do visceral. We're looking at being able to have physical, visceral experiences. We're looking to have a real-time experience in our acting. And a real-time experience is going to be something where you're going to give over yourself to the ability of receiving whatever the other actor gives to you while you're receiving them. Now, it could be that you receive the other actor and you feel this overwhelmed embarrassment, because maybe you're embarrassed for them because they just said something or expressed something that was inappropriate within the scene of the movie or the film. You could be embarrassed yourself. You could be it could be all kinds of different ranges of emotions. You could turn around and you could start to blush, and you're blushing because you're receiving the other actor. So your ability to be able to stay connected to the other actor completely rests on your ability to receive them. And this has everything to do with this concept of objectification. You might have an objective in the scene to be able to go and do, but you're going to have to be able to take the dance to be able to get there, because the audience is more interested often in the dance than they are the result. And often the case is that there's a journey and there's a lesson and there's an emotional arc that will be part of the experience. When you're doing the improvisational exercises, you want to be able to then look at this as a way to keep practicing doing the scenes in an expansive manner. So the scene, you work to get the emotion, you go deep enough to get the emotion, you keep reactivating yourself over and over and over as many times as you need to. You do layered preparation, you go into it, you add another imaginary circumstance to a real circumstance. You can add a real circumstance on top of a real circumstance and put those together, and then all of a sudden you're starting to activate your emotion. Stay in a little longer, make sure you got past the feeling, you've got your emotion activated. Now, when you're bringing your emotion, you're still going to be able to bring with you by just the fact that you're walking into the scene, something that has a value, that you know has a value of an emotional weight. That is ideally how you want to be able to do this, because you're not, at that point, you're not objectification. You're not oversimplifying. You're doing a process which you know is clear for you, and you know that you'll be able to activate something that has meaning to you. And now that meaning is going to come with you into your interaction. And then you turn over again to receiving the other actor. And you receive the other actor, and you receive the other actor, and then you allow yourself to adjust and expand every single time you receive them. And this is going to be the experience of which the audience is going to know, and they're going to build up trust very, very quickly with you, because they're going to be able to realize that every single time that the other actor says something, that you're actually taking it in. Now, I just remembered, sometimes people will call this taking it personally. You want to take the other actor personally. That's absolutely correct, 100%. Look, let's look at some of my other videos, and I've got some books here, including Meisner's Activities. I also have 3-set series of emotional preparations. Check those out. They are fantastic. There are over 700 actual good, great emotions for actors to learn, and you want to flip through the books. Don't just read it from page 1 to do 1, 2, 3 consecutively. You want to be able, or you can, but don't be afraid. Get familiar with those books. You look up one emotion, you read through that, you see what that can do to you. You see if you can find that emotion. You kind of resonate with it. You kind of work with that emotion. Then you flip to maybe one that's similar that it mentions. It says maybe the mention of despair also has anguish. And you say, well, look, let's look up anguish. And you look up the next one, and you flip through that, and then you flip through the next emotion. And you go, well, this is great. And then you give yourself a break when you get when it's too much. Give yourself a break, and then what will happen is your emotions and everything will adjust to you, and that will still. These are all how you're able to work your acting muscles. Acting muscles are the ability to be able to pick up and carry your own emotional weight. So you're picking up and carrying an emotional weight, then you're putting down an emotional weight. You're releasing it. So you're not carrying around in life all the time, but you're going to be able to have it for your art and your craft. Thank you.